Here we go.
Do you have a plan B for that?
No. But there are a few upsides.
Going green. Great.
So I'm clearly nailing it at all of these things.
But a punk!
He doesn't mean that.
What is going on, everyone? We are here with our finale episode for She-Hulk Going Green and Aftershow. I am joined by Nerdsquatch yet again to talk about this amazing show and this amazing episode. But first of all, how you doing today, Nerdsquatch?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Excited to talk nerdy about this.
Oh, absolutely.
So, right at the top of this episode, we got an amazing sequence. I've never actually watched Bad Hulk fan, I know. I've never watched the actual Incredible Hulk Lou Ferrigno one. But I have
very little of it.
I have seen the intro, and I thought it was really cool that right at the top of this episode, because at the end, she gets arrested for last episode. That was our cliffhanger. And then we get this reference, which is literally shot for shot stuff from the actual theme for the Incredible Hulk.
And the 2008 Incredible Hulk movie did the same thing. It
Really?
recreates that as well.
I didn't remember that.
I'm sorry?
I didn't remember that.
I think it's very few pieces, though. Like, there's a scene of him in the little chair thing, and it's ripped right out of the intro, and then there's, like, the car. But there's not a lot of other things. But this, like, shot for shot did it.
Bear jumped in for a second just to say hi. He said, just dropping in to say, hey.
I'll see you tonight.
Yeah, he says he can't wait to see you tonight at your little shop of horrors, which I'm so jealous that I can't see, but eventually I'll get moved down there and I can see your awesome performances.
I just actually accepted a role in a second one today, and another one today, so that my next show is already booked.
That's all. Are you allowed to say what it is?
The show, it's a play. It's not a musical, but it is called She Kills Monsters, and it's about D&D.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, and it's an emotional kind of coming of age thing. I think I'm just really excited.
So this was an opening to an episode that was kind of sad. I mean, we wake up to Jen in the same, it looked like the same exact cell Abomination was in.
The exact same one.
And everyone, just because she got angry, saw her as this raging monster, and now she has to wear a power dampener just like Abomination.
Kind of sounds like they're trying to say something about how the world views women who were simply overstimulated and allowed to
rightfully
feel their
angry
emotions, but they see them as monsters and angry.
I mean, anyone would have been angry in that situation. You're up there receiving a reward, and these people who hate you for no good reason are then shaming you on screen in front of everyone who's congratulating you for everything you've done.
Mm-hmm.
Just completely invalidating you.
Absolutely.
I would break the screen too. And I'm not even a Hulk.
Oh, it broke my heart. It was a hard ending.
And then she goes back to her dad, which I did love that little scene where her dad was like spraying off the news reporters. That was pretty cool.
I think there's like a comic where Bruce did that. Like she was being chased by like somebody, and Bruce got him with a hose. Yeah. An old comic.
I love this little comment. I don't even care if we're in a drought. I got water pressure for days. Jen's dad needs to be protected by all costs.
Absolutely. Please protect Morris Walters.
I can take her, leave her mom.
Oh, Elaine. Oh, Elaine.
Nick, her friend loves her.
Oh yeah, Nikki loves
Nikki's
her.
her friend, right? Yeah, okay. I was about to say Nikki. I was like, wait, is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yes, Nikki loves.
She scared me in this episode, by the way, because I was wondering if she was kind of a two-timer friend, and then there was a scene where she was trying to get the dirt, because they're investigating intelligentsia together, but Jen's wanting to go this legal route.
Yeah.
And Jen basically goes for her little resort, going back to Blonsky's resort, while Pug and Nikki are doing some reconnaissance of their own. And when she posted that video, I was thinking, crap, don't tell me she's part of this. No.
But what I love is that the Hulk King says, "See you soon, bro." And
Yep.
she goes, "Oh shit."
They're not going to let a woman hear. So Pug, and Pug's like, damn it. I got to act like a douche.
Oh,
And then
we
get into the...
He was one of them. Oh, it broke my heart.
That's just kind of how those guys are. You say the right things, and they're like, yeah, man, come here, yeah. It's just...
I didn't mean to interrupt you. What did you say?
Oh, no, I was just talking about the same thing you're talking about. They're at this meeting now at an undisclosed location, which kind of was already given away if you were looking at the background, because you can see little Blonsky's little things back there. And when you had your
lodge.
theories, you were talking about maybe Abomination's a part of it. And then I saw the leak.
It.
I saw the leak where Hulk and him were fighting. I was like, oh my God, Abomination really is a dick.
It's a misunderstanding. He was just getting paid.
Yep, he was just getting paid. They hired him to be a motivational speaker.
Yep.
And that's what he was doing. He was just a host. He didn't know anything about what they were doing.
I saw a comment that was like, it's almost like how toxic men latch on to life coaches in real life.
Seeing him
they see somebody that they think speaks for them, and they're like,
Todd is so small, he's not even taller than Abomination's leg.
Todd's poor transformation reminded me of Scrappy Doo.
The Bro Hulk.
Hulk King, ew.
Oh my God, I hated that so much. When she was like, this cannot be where the season's going, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, this cannot be where it was
This
going.
isn't doing it for you, is it? And
we're gonna get to that, but I want to go back to when he's talking with the dude bros around the circle, and they're talking all kinds of misogynistic stuff. They did this clever thing where they made the comment sections on Facebook and Reddit and all these places. They made those people the villains.
Yep, and that's why they don't like the show. Regardless,
that's
of
what I
want
want to That's what I kind of want to talk about before we get to the good stuff.
That's fine. No,
The
absolutely.
opinions that these people have. And I want to preface this by saying, if you did not like the show, that's okay. You cannot like the show all you want. That does not make you one of these people.
Mm-mm.
This show was for a specific audience, and Marvel's starting to do that. They're making niche things, and that's okay. If it just didn't do it for you, nothing wrong with that. We're all good here. But if you leave comments like this, worst Marvel series so far, no direction, unlikable character, when becoming Jennifer, really unlikable. What's that mean? I mean, Tatiana Maslany is a awarded actress. People know she can act, and yet they're criticizing her now?
Yeah.
Acting like they can act better than her?
Oh, yeah. And then there's the people who want to say it's about the writing. But like I've said multiple times, what I just watched in that last 30 minutes was ripped right out of John Byrne's sensational She-Hulk. She used to punch panels out and walk through them all the time. Exactly.
And we finally got to that, and I love that so much. I'm going to play the little clip because I think a lot of us thought our Disney Plus was just glitching because this chaos is happening. We got Abominations fighting, Hulk's just showing up. We got Hulk King now, which was just weird. And then Titania comes in, smashing through the wall, which is totally unexpected. It's just like, what is happening? And she decides she's not having it. She's breaking out of this show. She's going to go talk to the writers and figure out what the hell's happening with her show. What was your initial reaction when it actually blipped over to the Disney Plus screen?
At first, my RTV, particularly on Netflix, tends to crash and go back to the Roku home screen because our Netflix is outdated, or our TV is, one of the two. But anyway, I thought it was something like that. And then I paused it, or I went to press the OK button, and I realized that my screen was paused. And I was like, what? And then she started talking. And real quick, I do want to say, because I didn't say this in episode 8, but I really love her super suit. I really love it. I love this thing so much. I think it is a genius it's got the purple on the inside and the white and black. I mean, it's so new, but it looks just like her It's perfect. And it covers up, it's not too reveal, it's very respectful of who Tatiana Maslany is.
And it looks awesome, yeah.
I think it looks great. And the new Daredevil suit looks great too. All the costumes in the show are really awesome.
I don't know why people hate the Daredevil suit so much.
It's a reference to his dad.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing about it is an eyesore. I think it looks amazing.
Especially in the muted yellow. Instead of like lemon yellow, it was kind of gold. I
do wish they would have put a giant D on it. That's my only complaint. Like, you're going this accurate. Just go a little step further, please. Please. But
I've
that's
been waiting
all right.
for it, but
And so she's walking through the studio, and she goes and finds the writer room. And funny story about that, there in the back left in the red shirt, that's
Jessica
actually
Gao.
the writer, Jessica Gao.
The showrunner. Yep.
And so we get this scene where she's talking to the writers, what's up with my show? What are you doing? Why are you doing this like every other Marvel show? And there was actually a TikToker who, he wasn't being toxic or anything, but he kind of proved the point she was making, because his complaint about the finale was he thought they should have just let that fight scene play out, because that would have been a satisfying conclusion to him. And that's kind of the trope. That's kind of the point she was making, is that all of these shows and movies, they're just leading up to one big fight scene with someone who has the same powers as the hero.
And you don't get closure on the characters.
Yeah. Her story is not about fighting the bad guy. Her story from the beginning, from episode 1, is dealing with being She-Hulk. From episode 1, this has been the whole thing. She didn't want the powers, then she kind of got some confidence from it, then she had issues with people preferring She-Hulk to Jen, then she kind of, for a second, was almost preferring She-Hulk. It was a back and forth thing. That was her stakes, and she says that when she talks. Basically, she tells them that she needs to go talk to Kevin at Marvel Studios. This was actually Marvel Studios.
Yeah, that is actually Marvel Studios, and an actual Marvel Studios receptionist.
Oh, that's an actual receptionist?
Yep. I saw that in New Rockstars, I think. They said either he doesn't work there anymore or he left, but when they were shooting it, he was the receptionist.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, you could talk to Kevin. You just got to sign this NDA real quick, because everyone has to sign an NDA.
I watch it with subtitles because me and my mom have concert hearing. Our ears are just warm.
So you already knew that Kevin...
Well, no. I was like, why is her Kevin spelled regularly, and why does theirs have periods in between? What's going on here? And then it was like, oh God.
That's Kevin.
The ball cap.
So I saw comicbook.com. I want to call them out real quick, because they are constantly trying to be divisive on they'll post 4 different contrary articles just to get people pissed off in the comment sections. And they made one that was what I believe was untruthful. Until I hear it from Kevin Feige himself, I think it's untruthful. They were saying that Kevin Feige was upset that they didn't put a hat on Kevin. But if you look, there's a hat. It's not an actual hat, but there's a hat.
It has a hat. It's hilarious.
So she went there to make her case. he says what a lot of people on comment sections are saying. We need to have the big fight scene. That's just how these Marvel movies are going. And her being a lawyer, she makes her closing argument.
And he rewrote it for her.
And it made sense. She's like, the powers aren't the villain. Hulk just swooping in out of nowhere. Why? Like, if you built up to that, like she sent a transmission or something, and there was more time rather than just that morning she sent a text that didn't even go through, like, that would have made more sense. But him just happened to show up right when Abomination's picking her up to defend her, and it just looked wrong. Like, that, it's just like, what?
I really liked him coming in at the end. It felt very natural. And, his family was there, and it was just a really great... And when Kevin says, but we were going to bring him back. We were going to introduce... I was like, it's either Red Hulk or Scar. And I was so pumped when it was Scar. That is just so rad.
We got his boy. Which, that's a sick haircut, by the way.
It looks like the guy from Thor Ragnarok cut it, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Stan Lee, rest in peace. So, in that scene where she's talking with Kevin, though, we got a little... Can we consider these confirmations? Because I feel like if Marvel's saying it in the show, it's pretty much a confirmation. Them talking about, we'll just explain that in the movie. Like, they can't just say that they're going to explain that in a Hulk movie and not actually give us a Hulk movie. So what's your thoughts on that?
When he said that, and then when he said, see you on the big screen. I mean, I have this hunching, and I hate it because I love Sam Wilson. But I have this hunching suspicion that New World Order is just a cover for World War Hulks.
I hope.
I hope not too, but why else is start? Either it sets it up, maybe it is a Cap movie.
If it sets it up, I'd be okay with that. I don't want
Cap loses.
I love Hulk, and I want a Hulk movie so bad, but the last thing I want is for him to take over another person's story. Because that's kind of the only way we've gotten him anyways, is him being a part of someone's story. And I've accepted that because that's the only way we can get him. But if he's going to have his own movie, I want it to have his name on it. It be him. Or even...
Absolutely. And even call it that. World War Hulks.
Mm-hmm. Whatever they need to call it, as long as they give me some Bruce Banner, because I need
hopefully Bruce Banner and Harrison Ford. Fingers crossed, man.
So the other little confirmation we got in there, which we already knew this was happening anyways, but her asking about the X-Men. When we get in the X-Men, I can't tell you that. I thought that was so cool. It's like she's hanging out with the fans. She's like, I got your guys' back. How about the X-Men? I just love that.
Hopefully very soon.
Hopefully very soon. I think they're already there. I mean, this show's already teased the X-Men once with that little article about Wolverine.
Well, Mr. Immortal's a mutant, isn't he?
I don't know a lot about Mr. Immortal, but I believe y'all talked about that.
And I think Mambo is and a few other people, so, why not?
I really hope that the theory is correct that the mutants have just always been here. The story hasn't focused on them. Because we know through Moon Knight and stuff like that, other enhanced individuals have existed in the MCU. The story just hasn't focused on them.
Exactly. Because
Moon Knight was not the first Moon Knight. That's happened for a while. So you have all these gods that have these avatars on Earth. Mm-hmm. There's been heroes for forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe not heroes, but people with abilities.
Well, I think Werewolf by Night kind of touched on that too.
Absolutely, which, oh my god, that was amazing. Because now we just know Swamp Thing exists. He's just around somewhere.
Ted.
Which, did you know that was almost completely practical?
I have seen the on-set man thing. Yeah.
Like, I am sure when his mouth moves and stuff like that, that's a little CGI.
And the eyes.
The actual suit, the thing we watch walking around, that's practical.
Well,
That
there was
was
a
amazing.
bit at the end when it was in color, and when his little things moved, but it was focused on Jack, and Man-Thing's tentacles were in the foreground, that you could really tell it was practical.
I love that.
I know.
When we saw him in werewolf form, that was practical too.
It was indeed. I love how they kept the makeup on his face and everything. Oh, the attention to detail in that 50 minutes is just...
I would like to call on Marvel, because they totally watch our stuff. Do more practical things. Give the VFX team a little more of a break.
Yep.
Like, we love VFX. We love seeing these amazing things that don't exist come to life. But give some costume designers a chance too, because they can make some amazing things happen.
Now, I do have to make a case for She-Hulk, because I feel like if Mark Ruffalo's Hulk looks a little bit like Mark Ruffalo, She-Hulk should look like Jennifer Walters. It shouldn't be a different actress.
Yes.
So, I think they kind of had to go that route with this character.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She should be CGI. But they have a body double for her that's 7 foot tall.
7 feet tall. Yes. And they painted her green too, so that they could just have an on-set reference.
I love that.
Yep.
I also like how we got Matt Murdock back in this episode, because
That's sweet, man. Ugh.
Kevin's throwing a little tantrum. You came in and ruined my show, and she's like,
Bruce smashes buildings, I smash fourth walls and bad endings. And sometimes Matt Murdock.
Okay.
I kind of screeched a little bit when she said that. I was like, oh my god, yes, you did. Oh my god.
Yeah,
This
it was so much fun. The last 3 episodes, just so much fun.
and one of these hate comments was talking about the Daredevil. Yes, so this one says, so after a full season of the show, downplayed the Hulk's emotional tragedy in the face of women being catcalled. Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
Because she did not downplay his tragedies at all. All she said in that scene was that he was projecting his issues onto her. That is all that was. If you took that as anything else, you're just flat wrong. She never told him that his issues don't matter.
No.
His issues do matter to him, and that's why he was projecting them onto her.
Well, take it like, you can't really expect anything different from this group of people, because look at what they did when people said Black Lives Matter. Nobody is saying Black Lives Matter more, most. We're just saying two.
They matter.
As
That's
well.
all it is. They matter.
They
It's a
matter.
fact.
Period. Full stop. And so, of course, this is the same group of people that can't understand that just because one person has issues doesn't mean they're taking away from somebody else's issues. At all. Problems aren't pie. It doesn't run out. We all have them.
Yep. Talking about
But
your
no,
own doesn't
it's
negate
because-
someone else's.
Well, look at this. This is something I thought about too. You want to talk about this in the show? It's perfect because they do it in the show. This group of D-bags, the intelligentsia, don't like Jennifer because they claim she didn't earn her powers. Do you know who else didn't earn their powers? Emil Blonsky, a dude that they hired to speak at their event. It has nothing to do with the reasoning these people give. It is solely because she's a woman.
And they're not even taking into account how she feels about it. They just assume that she's just like, woohoo, powers! She struggled with it. She wanted them gone.
Exactly.
Up until that inhibitor was given to her, she didn't want the powers. They were a burden to her. And these people are acting like she was cheering and flaunting them. She didn't want them in the first place. So the second hate comment on this was saying, had Jen defend Abomination while causing basically 0-person conflicts between anyone. Okay, they called attention to that. She didn't want to represent him, but GLKN is kind of corrupt, and they just wanted her to do it anyway.
And Bruce told her he was okay with it.
Exactly. So they handled that. So again, Invalid comment. Number 3, had Jen fail upwards in her career while complaining the whole way. She was complaining because of how things were being given because she was She-Hulk. She didn't want that. That was part of the message.
She wanted those things because she's educated and knows what she's talking about.
She didn't fail upwards. She's a good lawyer. She goes toe-to-toe with Matt Murdock.
I know, guys, I know the show kind of put them on an even playing field, but in the comics, she's also better at it. So, and always has been.
She is an amazing lawyer. She didn't fail into it. And everything that you're criticizing her about not having, that's another real world thing. Another way we turn these commenters into the villains of this show, because there are people who get things handed to them and they didn't ask for that. But they had to deal with it because that's life.
Yep.
She was complaining because things were being given to her as She-Hulk, and she wanted to be given to Jen because she actually, as Jen, deserves it.
Exactly.
And so people are going to view it as her getting things handed to her when that's not at all what's happening. That was another struggle she had. Mm-hmm. And that was her stakes. I mean, she says that at the end when she's talking with Kevin. Her stakes for this show is dealing with being Jen and
She-Hulk. Yep.
So it's like the whole point of the show. You're walking face first into it. For lampooned a few obscure 80s characters. I don't even know what that means, but...
Oh, lampooned a few... Doesn't that mean kind of like parodying, like parodizing and making a joke out of them?
That's the thing.
Well, I do have to say, because Mr. Immortal is a pretty serious and tragic character in the comics.
Yeah.
It was a different take. But Manbull and Porcupine and Saracen are pretty goofy characters in the comic books. It's not like they're making fun of things that Marvel wasn't already making fun of.
It's a goofy world. And this is a comedy. So, of course, things are going to be taken a little less seriously.
And number 5 is going to be my favorite.
Yeah, brought Daredevil into the MCU just so they could have him do the Walk of Shame in costume. That man was not doing the Walk of Shame.
She was fully aware that my guy had a flight the next morning. He told her he was going home the next morning. She was fully aware he wasn't going to be there. It's not like he abandoned her. And they were both elated. Oh my gosh. You know what it is? He's become so unrelatable because he's finally slept with more women than they have. Yeah, now he's not relatable. I mean, so now they're upset.
I've watched the Netflix show. I don't see what people are talking about when they say that, because there was another thing in here where it was something about ruining Daredevil. Maybe that was a different comment. No, I guess not that one. But there was some comment I saw where the same people who were saying they were only watching the show, waiting for Matt Murdock, they then said that Disney ruined Matt Murdock. In what way? Give me a valid way that this character is different than he was in the shows, other than the fact that he's not depressed because he's on vacation.
And you know what I just saw? No, not just that. I saw this amazing meme. It wasn't even a meme. It was a post. And it said, if y'all really want Matt Murdock in Spider-Man 4, imagine a Matt Murdock who is at the highest he's ever been, and a Peter...
Uh-oh. You're muted for some reason.
Am I back?
Oh, you're good. You're good. I hear you.
Okay. But a Matt Murdock that's at the highest point in his life and a Peter Parker who's at the lowest point. It's going to make a great chemistry between these two.
Well, plus, we're going to get dark tones with Matt Murdock. But
Born Again is one of the darkest comics I have ever read. I mean, Karen Page was a heroin addict in those comic books. Come on, people. He's going to go back to this.
The thing is that this isn't his show. People are expecting him to be portrayed a certain way in a show that's not his. This is She-Hulk show, which is a lawyer comedy. There's no way they're going to bring him in and make it a dark-toned episode.
Sometimes his show was a legal comedy. Not
He
to
has
this
goofy
level,
moments.
but yeah, he was goofy from time to time.
And Charlie Cox, who loves this character so much, loved doing this episode. So if you really trust him as your Daredevil, as we all do, then trust the fact that they're doing the character the way it's meant to be done.
My favorite complaint from episode 8 was that Daredevil moved too much like Spider-Man. By jumping
He's
off of buildings
more
of things.
acrobatic than Spider-Man.
But guys,
It's supposed to be.
it's almost like he moves like a Daredevil.
But like, he's supposed to be more so than Spider-Man. That's supposed to be his shtick.
Because he does it all and can't sing. Yeah, they're just, oh my god. It's like people
I thought he
just
looked
wanna
amazing.
complain.
They just want to complain, yes. And again, like I said at the beginning, it's okay if you didn't like the show, but not like something in peace. You don't have to complain. I mean, I cherry-picked these comments. I did, these hate comments. But every single positive comment I see has a hate comment underneath of it, discrediting why when someone says they love the show, someone has to criticize them loving the show.
Why can't they just love it?
Why can't you just let people like things? If you didn't like it, that's okay. You can have your criticisms. You can even hold Marvel to those criticisms if you believe they're valid. But why ruin the party for people who enjoy it? There's no objectively bad thing.
I completely agree, especially in this show. Like, at first, like I've said before, at first I wasn't a big fan, but I started to find things that I specifically liked about it. And that's what you should do with any television show. Instead of focusing on what you don't like about it, talk about what you are enjoying.
I can't remember what this one was.
The
series have to improve a lot to be just bad. Marvel is destroying a legacy that was perfect until Endgame. There's no way anyone could do anything about it. When the money stops coming in, the shareholders start realizing the path they're on, going this bizarre. Maybe start to take it seriously and stop mischaracterizing characters and turning them into supporting ridiculous jokes. Marvel's not losing any money. I hate to be the breaker of bad news to you. They're not losing any money.
They're also not mischaracterizing anybody.
This is how She-Hulk, because a lot of people hate the fact that she broke the fourth wall, but we have the receipts. She does this all the time. She tears up the actual comic book and puts the character in the trash and throws him on fire because she didn't like the way the story was going. This is how She-Hulk has always been. If you don't like that, that's okay, but stop acting like it's a mischaracterization.
Right, if you don't like it, maybe She-Hulk isn't for you because this is how she's been. Exactly.
And I do want to place a little bit of blame on Marvel, and maybe this isn't warranted. I hope Marvel, in their future movies when they have She-Hulk in, I hope they present her in a way to where someone didn't have to watch the show to appreciate her. Because I really do think with how much stuff Marvel's putting out, they shouldn't require us to watch everything. Because if someone didn't like She-Hulk, I don't think they should have to watch it just to understand stuff that's going to happen later. I think someone should be able to watch a show, realize it's not for them, and move on, and not have anything ruined for them in the future stuff that they enjoy. Because, and Marvel may be doing that. I don't know because the future hasn't happened yet. I haven't seen a movie with She-Hulk yet. I hope that's what they do because that would be the right thing to do with them going these polar opposite ways and having different genres within their Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep, absolutely. And I think this show as a whole is separated enough that you can do that. Like,
Absolutely.
If she's going to be coming into a conflict movie, she's not going to need or have the time to tell her origin story all over again.
All you need to know is that Hulk is a kid now, and she accepted being She-Hulk. That's all you really need to know going forward.
Yep.
So if you didn't like the show, move on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think like you said, nobody's forcing you to watch anything. But if you choose not to, and you didn't read the source material, then you have no place to decide if this is a bad representation of it or not. Because those of us who have read it will tell you that John Byrne used to write really uncomfortable and really ridiculous storylines just so Jennifer could break through them and change them. This is literally how her comics were written back in the day. Because they were making fun of the low, because that's when Marvel was doing bad. You know what I'm talking about? They were making fun of the current state of the Marvel comics, which this show was making fun of the current state of Marvel movies.
Yeah,
they're all
kind of doing the same thing. And so she led it up to that same plot that every other show and movie does, and then said, I don't like this. We're breaking out of this. I'm going to go talk to the writers. And she talks to the writers. And I love that scene when she's like, I want to talk to Kevin.
This is the story that Kevin wants.
Okay, then I want to talk to Kevin.
I would kill you to keep you away from Kevin.
Okay, the way you're talking about Kevin is so unhealthy. You know, that's true, though. We really have a problem, and this is us included. We really do immortalize these people who make our stories come to life. Because there is an unhealthy way.
Kevin Feige, but he did not create these characters. So...
Exactly. He protects them. But even Stan Lee, no disrespect to Stan Lee. I love him. I'm a fanboy. But we do immortalize him a little heavily, acting like he's this perfect person. He had his flaws, but he was a good man who created a lot of storylines that we enjoy. And that's why we love him. But I did like that called attention to there is a certain unhealthy way we talk about these real people. And maybe we as fans should stop doing that.
Oh, and not just that. That's the thing, and that's part of the... Look at Little Mermaid, for example. We have sensationalized real people so much that they are like the fictional characters. So when they cast a black girl as Ariel, who is fictional, the same people who took brown Jesus and made him white are the ones complaining.
I can't wait for that, for the Little
This
Mermaid.
guy was real. Ariel is not. You can't complain about a fictional character being changed when you actively change a real human being from history every day. Because whether you believe he was the son of God or not, there's enough evidence to say he walked the planet. You know what I'm saying? Historians will tell you Jesus Christ was a real person.
His name wasn't Jesus Christ, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah. Jesus of Nazareth.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But this was the last comment that I brought up. This is actually 3 separate comments. Bro, that was the most insulting episode of the whole series. Spoiler alert, you are the bad guy. I'm embarrassed for everyone who touched the show.
I'm not the bad guy.
You are, and you prove that because you. It's one of those things. If the shoe fits, if you're putting yourself into that shoe, then it's probably true.
I'm the hero, honey.
And then don't worry, there's nothing good to ruin. Oh, because they're like, Marvel was saying, don't spoil. Again, that's your opinion.
The Tony Stark.
You're entitled to that opinion, but... And then absolutely the stupidest thing Marvel's ever done. Yeah, let's just have the actor jump out of the screen and talk to the writers. That's fucking stupid. Oh, gee, that's almost like it's happened before. It's almost like this is a thing that happens. And you know what's funny? A lot of the guys who hated that would probably have lost their shit and been so happy Deadpool did it. It's the fact that they decided that they don't like She-Hulk and they don't like her breaking the fourth wall. So her doing this was just so silly to them.
And they do it in 2 totally different ways. As far as I know, Wade Wilson has never spoken to a room full of writers.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know if he has, but she certainly has spoken to her writer. Yes.
And immediately, because before this episode even aired, you and I had talked about this one, The Burn, where she climbs out, trying to talk to Burn, and immediately when she said she wanted to talk to Kevin, or she wanted to talk to the writers, that came to mind immediately.
I think that's the first time she broke the fourth wall too, because that lady that she's with explains it to her. She's another fourth wall breaking character from the comics.
Who is that? Because she's like, control yourself. We're inked and colored and printed. There's a reader out there now. She tells her in another panel. She takes her to lunch. They both walk across the panel from one room to a restaurant, and she explains to her that she can do it. So I think that's her first time ever breaking the fourth wall. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like the Marvel version of the Phantom Stranger. I think is who that lady is. She's like supposed to be like the Phantom Stranger, but I don't know.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'll have to go back and find the panels.
But back to the beginning of the episode for just a second. I was really heartbroken watching her stand behind that glass because she's a lawyer. She's the person who stands on that other side where these three are standing. And she didn't deserve to be there.
I agree. And thank God Angelica Schuyler wasn't evil.
Right? I would have hated that so much if she ended up being the bad guy. And thank God that Abomination wasn't. The only thing he really broke was that he broke his parole, turning into Abomination.
Okay, so here's my next question. What is next for Blonsky?
I don't know. He didn't stay in his prison cell, so he's definitely not coming back to America. And he's staying with Wong now.
You know what would be hilarious? If the reason he's not on the Thunderbolts poster is because they're leading a mission to break into Kamartaj and steal him back.
Trying to arrest him.
Right, because it's so kept under lock and key that Val is like, I need people to go do this for me. And so they're breaking into Kamartaj. Because the thing we saw, I think it was snowing, and it snows in Nepal. So I don't know.
You know, the thing is, I think Wong could take everyone on that Thunderbolts lineup, though. Wong could solo.
Wong could take anybody in the MCU, and I'd be happy. I don't care if it's not his comic book character. Make him a total badass.
I want Wong to have his own movie because that scene in Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness when he was fighting the big creature thing, that was a Wong moment. And
I would love a Wong television show for sure.
Oh yeah, and have Madison.
And even put Tim Roth in it as another lead. Absolutely. Yes, I agree. Give me that now.
So, anything else about this episode you want to talk about?
I wish I got a little more loose ends tied up about Titania.
I think I forgot where we left off with her because I didn't realize that her and Jim were. Maybe because it had been a couple episodes since we saw her. I couldn't remember where they left off to when she showed up.
It was just the wedding. It was where she fell at the wedding and busted her face.
And so now they're cool. Yeah, that.
But they shouldn't be because they're like arch rivals.
Yeah, because when she busted through there, she wasn't looking for Jen. She was busting up the intelligentsia crowd.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch
so
that.
It didn't make sense why she. I mean, I know that was the point that it didn't make sense, but then even in the rewrite, after she talked to the writers, she's outside getting excited for She-Hulk to rip Todd to shreds. And so, why are they
we're about to witness a murder. That was great. I really liked her transformation being kind of fully out there for us to see at that last minute where she went down and said, I'll see you in court, babe. Because we didn't really, there were times when it would cut away and then cut back, like the Kevin moment, which I get that was a joke. And did you hear the music after he said what he said to her? He said, you are very expensive. The VFX team has already moved on to another project. Cue Wakandan drums.
Yes, I did hear that. I forgot. I thought you were talking about when she shrunk down in front of Todd. That there was music.
No, the Wakandan drums with Kevin.
Yes.
Greatness.
I'm so pumped for that, and that's going to be an upcoming
My
episode.
next show opens the day it releases, so I won't.
When does it release again?
November 11th.
November 11th. Oh, it's like
so
a
I
month
won't
away.
get to see it that weekend.
I need Wakanda Forever right now.
Yeah, I do too.
And that's another show. Like, I'm getting so tired of my fellow Marvel fans because that show, that movie is already getting some hatred online. And I don't get it. Like, everyone loved Black Panther. We know.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I wonder what their
gonna be...
reaction is going to be to this movie. But they'll make the excuse that it's Namor. Just wait. It's the fact that Namor is now a totally different culture than he was in the comic. They'll make that the reason, I'm sure.
That will not be a valid reason in any way, shape, or form.
Tenoch Huerta is a talented actor, and he is going to slay that role.
He's already slayed it in the trailers we've seen. A little bit.
That look that he throws at Angela Bassett already gives me them Namor vibes. I am so pumped.
I'm excited. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, I can't think of anything more to talk about this. Thanks to everyone who has guest starred on the She-Hulk after show. We've had Blurdish, we've had Dieter. It's been a joy to just talk about this show.
We'll have to do a season 2 because I think they announced a season 2 of She-Hulk, didn't they?
So I saw an interview with Tatiana Maslany, and she said nothing's been written down yet. There's no confirmations that she's aware of, but she is definitely up for it. She wants.
If Jen comes back, we have to come back.
Yes, we will do, and we might do some after shows for other shows that come out
absolutely
as well. Because I like
we
this.
Should totally do it.
And if you didn't catch all these after shows, we will be doing a full-length episode with our other co-host, Bear. He's catching up on the show. He was waiting for it to all come out, and so he's only seen the first episode so far. But he will be joining us for the actual full-length episode. You're going to hear Nerdsquatch and I repeat a lot of the same stuff we said in this after show. So really, this is just more of a hangout thing. And I've enjoyed doing this with you. I'm glad we were able to do this.
I have loved it. It has been awesome.
And so I actually, one last thing we could do to wrap this up, our rankings.
Oh, yes.
How many Nerdsquatch prints would you give this out of 10? Because
it started off rough for me, I'm going to say 9.5.
Very nice.
But that's only 0.5 lower than a 10. Like, the finale was so impressive to me that I'm this close to giving it a 10. You know, it's just, but I loved it.
So, I personally think each of these episodes should have had another 10-15 minutes to them. And that's talking about the fact that we're not really sure what happened with Titania, all of a sudden not hating her, all of a sudden after the last time we saw them, they were fighting. I don't know, maybe she just learned her lesson, but I'm just going to say 9 out of 10 beards.
I mean, Andor has more episodes than this does. Daredevil's going to have more episodes than this did.
And maybe not so much more episodes, but make them a little longer. Because my biggest complaint for each episode was that when it was over, I was like, oh, that's all I get?
Yeah.
And so just a little more...
WandaVision was 20 minutes longer every week. WandaVision was like an hour every week.
It was like a bunch of little Marvel movies. And this was like it's a show, so maybe it's not a valid criticism, but... It's my criticism, but still 9 out of 10 for this whole show.
Fantastic. Yep. Now bring on She-Hulk on the Fantastic Four. I beg of you, please give it.
Absolutely. That would be amazing. So, Nerdsquatch, I wish you luck tonight with your show.
Thank you very much.
And until then, I'm going to say stay bearded, stay awesome, and much love.
All right, bye, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Boom, cut the check.
That was totally wicked!
Thanks for checking out another episode. We hope you enjoyed it. New episodes are released every other Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Check back then or subscribe so that your device downloads it automatically. Audio episodes are available pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts, so it's really easy to share them with all your nerdy friends. For YouTube viewers, subscribe and click the little bell so you're notified about all our new content. Links to talk nerdy to us can be found in the episode description as always. You can chat with the bear, the beard, or the rest of the Bearded Bear team, head researcher and graphic designer, Mama Bear, the social media sorcerer, Nerdsquatch, the master of marketing, Han Brallo, the master merch fabricator Tyler the Great, or any of our public liaisons, Mama Kim, Katie Cat, or JB. Huge thanks to them, the geeks of the round table, and all our awesome friends of the cast. Much love y'all. Lastly, for more cool music like this awesome outro track, go check out Harlequin Soul, Secret Apex on Facebook and Spotify. His links are in the description as well. Talk at you next episode, nerds. See you then.
Welcome to the end.